Alrighty, we have a spreadsheet. So here I'm going to be pretty much talking about each single one of these up here. Book 3 is the name of it. I just created a new one just so I could show you. But yeah, let's get into it. So there's going to be a lot in this one, but just bear with me and we'll get to the fun stuff right after this one. So in this first one we have file, and pretty much the use of this, it's pretty important. It's so you can save your files, so you can print your files. We'll go over that later. You can share. Don't want to export it right now, but you can export it to PDF or anything like that. You can publish or close. Also, you can find all kinds of like crazy things in here. These are some of my other recent ones, but yeah, you got all that. In the home tab, this one, the home one, we have all these clipboard options. You have paste, cut, copy, format, painter. You have your font right here. You can change and design the font any way you want. Cell alignment, this gets pretty fun. Number right here, so if you have a number, if you have like, say we have $5.34, it just kind of looks like a decimal right now. Pop that, bam. We now have a number, $5.34. Over here we have conditional formatting, which I'll go over in a separate course, and then here we have tables and stuff like that, which will be part of this course. Here we have cells. I'll be going over that as well, and then a little bit of editing. So in here we have like these are the bulk editing tools right here, but in here we have more of like how to do a lot at once, also bulk editing, I guess. So we have like number, and instead of going to each one, we're just going to kind of like highlight and then clear all, and click it, right? Clear all. Bam. There we go. And then all the data's gone, all the numbers are gone. So, oops. So in Excel here, we are in Excel. In Insert here, we have the next ones, which is tables. We're going to be using a lot of that. Pivot tables I'm going to be doing in a separate course, but here's the tables right there. We'll be doing a lot of. Illustrations, anything from pictures to online pictures you can find without leaving Excel. Shapes, you have all kinds of like fun squares and smiley faces here. Well, oops, I want to just select the smiley face. We have a smiley face there now. We have icons, 3D models you can use from something you've created or something you found. Smart art, just like you would find in a PowerPoint. Bunch of add-ons right here. I don't use these too often, but they're good for certain types of data, like there's a people graph, or I think the Bing Maps you could use for something like location-based data. The important thing here is going to be the charts. So the charts in Excel are pretty powerful, actually. You have maps for, like I said, the location data. We have pivot charts, which I'll go over in a different one, but all of these, oops, we're getting an error there already. Wants me to just do some random data. So we have 1 and 2. Pretty much you have all these charts that you can use, and I'm not going to go through them now. I'll be going through them later, but you can use these charts for any type of data, any type of like crazy thing. There's a lot you can do with these, so we'll dive deeper into that later. But we also have, what's the next thing here? We have tours. I don't really use tours often. Like I said, that's more for location-based data. I don't do much of that, but if you're into that, go for it. We have spark lines, which are kind of cool. They're pretty much like a mini chart. Yeah, as it says there, placed in single cells. So it's like if you have a lot of data, you just kind of want to like break it up a little bit. That's what those are good for. Filters, slicers, and timelines. Those are good for pretty much if you have a table, you want to organize it a little bit better visually. Then you can just simply click a slicer, click the type of data you want, and then it'll sort it for you. Link, that's pretty much going to be any links that you have in your clipboard or anything. You can just paste it into the document there. Excuse me. A comment is going to be used for anything, for like collaboration or something. Say like you want to comment on my smiley face. I guess you can't. So you want to comment on the cell. You can go and comment on the cell right there by the smiley face and be like, hey, this sucks, or like this needs to be green. Well, then we can do that. That's not too hard. In the next one we have text. We have text boxes, headers and footers, word art, classic stuff, signature lines, that's always fun, and then just random objects there. And then the last one in insert, you're going to have symbols, and We have a bunch of equations here that you can use. I don't use these normally. You can use them, obviously, they're here for good. Pretty much what I use are symbols. You have a bunch of equal to, greater than, all kinds of fun stuff in here. Hebrew, there you go, you can add some Hebrew to your presentation or to your spreadsheet, so that's there if you need it. The next thing we have is our page layout, so that's going to be anything from starting with themes. You can change the theme, which changes the font and the colors. There we go, we'll make it orange. Changes the color there, and you can see it change the font up here too as well, so that's going to affect everything in the spreadsheet as well. So yeah, that does change the font as well. Excuse me. So the effects right here are going to be any effects for anything like my smiley face. Oh, that was kind of creepy. Changing a little bit of everything. The page setup I'll go over in a separate one as well. That's going to be when you're ready to print, you can actually, if you have like a bunch of lines or a bunch of rows of data, you can actually squeeze it all into like 1 or 2 pages, which is kind of cool. And we have the size here as well. It's normally going to be set to 8.5 and 11. Pretty much whatever paper you use. Print area, we'll go over that later. Breaks, all that good stuff. Background's kind of cool. You can add a background to your spreadsheet, so whenever you print it out, it looks all cool. And then print tiles, you can select especially like certain tiles you want to print that are going to be printed all the time or something like that. Scale to fit, that's going to be if you want to fit on a certain amount of pages. And then the sheet options here, this is cool too. If you think the lines are too distracting, you can just, and then bam, they're gone. I keep them on because personally I like to see that and all that, but there's that. And then arrange is going to be for any of your objects like this, if I want to send that backward or forward or anything, or have it go around the text, anything fun like that. The formulas are going to be one of the primary functions of Excel. You have some of these, that's some of the major ones, but pretty much if you go to all formulas, wherever it is, I forget where it is exactly, but you can do any formula. We have formulas here for financial things such as like accounting and more like stocks and stuff like that. Let me take a look at my notes real quick. Depreciation, future value, interest rates, stuff like that. We have the logical ones here that are like the if, then, or, nor, zor, core, whatever. That's going to be more of like your what ifs, your stuff like that. Your text, which is going to be kind of looking for text in the cells, like what, like the type of text in the cells, stuff like that. Your date and time, so that's going to be pretty nice, pretty easy. I have a planner that uses the date and time function, so that works pretty well for that. You're going to have your lookup and reference, so that's if you have a big spreadsheet and you want to like look up or maybe just even try to find certain data for a certain point in your spreadsheet. Math and trigonometry, so pretty much all your other things are going to be in there that you can't find. Like for simple math and stuff, we have where is it? We have decimals, degrees, we have, I think, averages in here somewhere. No, I guess it's in the other one, but you have that. Or is it one square? That's square root. So all kinds of stuff like that. More functions, going to be a little bit more specialized. So it is average. So it's going to be more specialized. I use a lot of the statistical ones in here, like a lot of the percentiles and standard deviation, stuff like that. That's going to be more or less on the field that you're in. So there's engineering ones. Not sure what any of these ones mean. Cube, I guess that has to do with cubes. Informations, I guess. Compatibility, that has to do with like compatibility of previous versions, I believe. And web ones, which are just for any, some web services, stuff like that. So there's that one. This is a name manager. You can create like different names and comments and different cells and stuff. I don't really use it often. Actually, I don't use it at all. So I'm not exactly sure of the whole power behind this, but I mean, you can use it, explore it a little bit more if you'd like, but that's all up to you. The formula auditing, I don't use it much. I probably should use it more, but it's pretty cool. It'll like let you see each formula that you have in here. I don't know what happened to this poor guy. I'm sorry. but it'll let you see each formula that you have in there, because whenever you do formula, Excel will actually show you the finished value of the formula instead of the formula itself, which is what it's supposed to do. But you can also trace the dependence and precedence of here, so you can make sure like none of your formulas are going like too crazy, or like know what each cell is referencing, which we'll go into a little bit later. And then here's your last one, the calculation options. So pretty much I have this always set to automatic, so it automatically calculates, but you can have it set to manual, where you calculate it whenever you click calculate now. Calculate the sheet will calculate all the equations or functions or formulas, whatever word you want to use in the sheet as well. So now to the data section. So in the data section we have all these different things. What's cool about Excel, sorry about that, is you can get data from another workbook, from a text file, from an XML file, which would be something downloaded from the internet possibly. Anything like that. You can get it from a SQL database, from a Access database, from like any servers or anything, from Azure, which I believe is Microsoft's SQL database. Any sources or services that you use, you can actually get data straight from that and put it right into your spreadsheet. These are just a little bit more from tables and ranges and existing connections. That'll just show you all of the connections currently in the workbook, which right now there's none, obviously, except my little smiley face there. So yeah, there's all that. In data types, we have stocks and geography. The stocks one is really cool. You can pretty much put down any ticker. We'll say Apple, for example, and then I guess I have to sign in to use this, but it'll recognize that that's a ticker, and then it'll give you options for how to use the ticker. You can do like the highest sale price, the lowest sale price, the 52 or 54 week low and high, and all that stuff. So you can do all that. For sort and filter up here, we have the sorting and filtering, obviously. That'll be if you have a range of numbers. Say we do like 1 or 12, I guess, then 2, then 3, then 3, then 6, and 2. You can select those, have it sort. Oops, don't need that one. Have it sort by smallest to largest. Bam. Sorted smallest to largest, and then that makes it easy. Helps your data out a little bit. You can filter it, which is more, I'm not sure if it'll let me filter this, but yeah, that's going to be more for like your categorical data or something like that. You have a bunch of data tools here as well. I don't use these too often, but you have text to columns. Pretty much splits text into different columns, something like that. You have flash fill, which is pretty cool actually. I do use that one often. Where you have a bunch of numbers, so you'll have like June, I was going to type it, but say you have like June, then July, August, and then all that. Eventually it'll know, so you can just flash fill and bam. Remove duplicates, that's good for if you want, like, if you have a lot of duplicates and you won't want to remove them, I guess. Data validation, that's good for like validating the data, make sure it's like legitimate and all that. Make sure there's not like any faulty data in there. Not exactly sure what consolidate or relationships do, but I believe the data model, has something to do with your data analysis, which is not enabled right now, even though it is right there. I just need to connect that, but that's going to be more like information about your data. We have the forecasting right here. Pretty cool, the what if analysis in the forecasting sheet. That's pretty much, it'll take your data and anything from there, it'll kind of like give you what ifs and scenarios, goal seeking, stuff like that. Forecasting sheet, that's also good for some of the like data science work and stuff like that. Outlining, you have groups, you can ungroup, subtotals of the outline, stuff like that. Data analysis and solver. I won't be going over the data analysis much in this because that's more of an add-on. It's a free add-on, but it's a very powerful add-on that you can use in Excel. In review, this is where the spelling is hidden, so we can check, spell check, awesome, we're good to go, all happy. Or we have a thesaurus right there, so if there's a word that doesn't look right to you, you can change it. We all know what a thesaurus is. Accessibility is kind of cool. It'll actually tell you, so if you're like reading different things, it'll tell you stuff like that, like how to fix to make it more or less confusing for people with disabilities, stuff like that. Smiley face, like it'll tell you how to fix that. So again, it's less confusing for people with disabilities. We have a translator here. So the translator pretty much anything from, I think it's powered by Bing. Yeah, so that's part of intelligent services as well. That's powered by Bing. So say you have like Chinese or something and you want to convert it to English or, I don't know, maybe Spanish, then there you go. You can do all that within the spreadsheet. We have more of the comments features over here, new comment, delete, previous, all that good stuff. Notes right here, that's more like personal stuff for you, like, hey, I'm going to add a note, like, get better at something. So whenever you click that, get better. We don't need that because I don't know what I need to get better at, but I'm sure I'll find something, so we're just going to leave that. What was the next thing? So we have protect. The protect is pretty cool for trying to do like certain things in spreadsheets. Like I've seen different documents, like some applications and stuff are in spreadsheets, and you can actually protect certain cells or sheets, stuff like that. That way no one can use it or change it or anything like that. So they can't be like, oh, well, this wasn't written in the document. Well, it was protected, so they can't change it in the first place. The ink is cool if you're actually going to be drawing and stuff on it. I don't really draw on it, so there's no reason for that for me. But hey, if you want to draw on it, go for it. That's all you. Here in the view, we have the normal, or the different views, set it normal. A lot of these views are pretty nice, actually. So the page break view is going to be if you're printing, so you have page 1 there. My smiley face will fit on page 1. The numbers will fit on page 1, and my little note there will fit on page 1 as well. Page layout is going to be how if you were to print the pages. So as we can see, everything there still on the same page. We have all that. Headers and footers, we didn't add those yet, but it would show you that as well. And then custom views, I don't have any right now, but you can always add those just to figure out like anything special that you're looking for. Here we have more options for hiding, grid lines and stuff like that, and formula bars. I always recommend to keep your formula bar not hidden, like visible. That way you can click on something and it's up there immediately. So we have the zooming as well. We can zoom to pretty much anything you want. If you can't see something, bam. We're nice and big now. We have all that good stuff, so that way you can see a little bit better. 100% to zoom to default, zoom to selection. So that's our selection, so we can see that nice and clear now at 400%. If I were to select the area around the smiley face, it would zoom into that. And then back to 100. So we can do new windows, which is like a second window in the same document, which is kind of cool. We can arrange the windows, freeze the panes, which is pretty cool. So say we have a bunch of data up here. We got one, and then just going across, we have one. We can freeze that top row there. That way as I scroll through, if those are my categories for different things, I can be on row 130 and it's still going to be up there. So that's nice. If you want to unfreeze, simply click, unfreeze, bam. So that's not too hard. We do have the splitting here as well, which is kind of cool. That makes you kind of like the freeze panes, but it's a little different. So now there's like sections, and you can always unsplit if you want. And then we have the hiding, stuff like that, side by side, that's windows. Macros are another thing. I use some macros. They're a little, you have to like kind of code the macros in, but macros can make your spreadsheet even more powerful, so those are awesome to use as well. We have developer, which I'm not sure this is going to be enabled for most of you. I use this for the macros. Pretty much nothing else here I really use it for, but yeah, that's the developer tab. And last but not least, we have help, which is help, contact support, feedback, smiley face, show training, and what's new. That's just pretty much like a little bit of Microsoft trying to be like, hey, if you need any help or something, we have these features for you. Feedback, just let us know like what you think of Excel and stuff like that. So I know this was a lot of information, and I hope I covered it all. Let me check my notes. I did, yeah. So pretty much all I have here is that it's a pretty powerful program, has many features, obviously, as we click through each one. And each ribbon essentially gives you the control to edit the spreadsheet however you want. And this is I think since Office 2007, the ribbons have been in place because it's been a super helpful feature for like every user. And that's why they're organized like this, because in your home, these are going to be the most used like features of Excel and stuff like that. Your editing, your cells, styles, conditional formatting, all that good stuff. But yeah, in the next video we will actually dive into using the equations a little bit and stuff like that. So thanks for watching.